Last time on 10.
Do you think that safe spaces are necessary? Why? Why not?
I think they're necessary. Like you said, because there are people out there who struggle, um, you know, with whatever they're going whatever's going on with them, and sometimes you can't go to family, or your friends may not be available, but there's this group of people that may meet once a week or twice a week where you can vent or ask questions that you may not be comfortable asking your family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so it like I said, it helps to have some place to turn to where you can express those emotions or those concerns. So I would say it's definitely necessary and helpful.
Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of 10, presented by Melling Media and hosted by yours truly, Tina. This podcast is about everything around you, and in line with that, this week we have invited some co-hosts to discuss raising sons. Co-hosts, introduce yourselves, please.
Planning an intimate event and need catering? Why search any further than Perfect Palette? There's a variety of options sure to fit your needs. For an out-of-the-box catering experience, try Perfect Palette's Small Bites. Want a specialized gift? Try Perfect Palette's Chef Experience. For all your catering needs, look no further than Perfect Palette. For more info, contact Chef Pearl at perfectpalette84@gmail.com or visit Instagram at perfectpalette84.
We can start with you, Kathy.
Okay, this is Kathy, also known as the Potty Mouth Granny. I got an ebook coming out next Saturday, you guys, about perimenopause and my experience I've been going through for the past 6 years. So pick it up, y'all.
Nice.
Oh, hello. This is Salome, and I am a long-suffering midwife, living and working in New York. I don't have anything to plug. I certainly don't have my practice to plug because I see enough patients, and I don't want any more. Don't want any more. And what do I have to say? Men are still the plague of the earth. That's what
Got it.
Exactly.
All right, so you guys know you've been through the drill before. We like to get up in your business. Let us know without sharing the names of your sons if you don't want to. How did you decide what to name them?
Well, I quite foolishly named my son after his father, which I regret. I should have rolled with the name I originally wanted to name him, which was Dylan. I should have.
Oh, that's cute. Okay. Next.
Okay, well, I have two sons, 16 months apart. I still have PTSD from that. I gave them both. Their first and middle name are both biblical names.
Oh, okay.
That I spent my entire pregnancy thinking about and researching and trying to flip over and make sure that names weren't going to be made fun of in school.
Yes.
Even though I'm not a religious person, I don't believe in religion. I think it's, religion has caused great harm.
Yes.
To this world, especially to women and children. But I gave them biblical names because, I love a fairy tale. So, that's
okay.
why I did that.
All right, let's get on into this shit, right? So we're talking about raising sons today. Kathy, we'll start with you. We'll just go by this order all the way through the thing. Kathy, then Salome.
Okay.
Do you think raising sons in America is a challenge? Why not?
It can be somewhat of a challenge because you have to deal with the rampant sexism that's going on in American culture. Mm-hmm. And depending on what area you live in, what neighborhood, particularly Black and live in the inner city, your sons can get caught up in that shit. And I'm not even talking about gangbanging. I'm just about the attitudes that people have towards women. So it can be challenging. But it also depends on the mother and the people that you got around your son.
Okay.
Because I told myself, when my son was about 6 years old, I said, no bitch ass niggas coming out of my household.
Uh-oh.
No. Not on my watch.
Okay.
I think that I think no matter where you live on this earth, as a woman, it's a challenge to raise sons, especially if you're a single woman, because like the entire earth is patriarchal.
Yes.
You know, we don't have any true matriarchal society. I mean, there's a matriarchal society in my house.
Right. Soon as you step out the door, though.
I mean, yes. So I think that anywhere in the world, and I've lived overseas. I lived 10 years in Barbados, and I traveled back and forth before I was married, to their father for 11 years. And, that also, again, is a patriarchal society. And all patriarchal societies, have women that have co-opted that patriarchy and instill it into their children, whether they're single or not, and they instill it especially into their daughters, which I think is a huge mistake.
Yes.
Big huge mistake. So yeah, I don't think it matters where you are.
I don't either. I haven't raised any sons, obviously, but I feel the same way. It doesn't matter where.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they can become contaminated.
Yes. Yeah, and it's a challenge. It is a challenge to to not let that seep in and poison them, because what it is a poison.
Yes.
Yeah. So, do you think it's easier or tougher, in your opinion, raising boys versus raising girls? Why not?
I think it's hard to raise children in this society, period. Is my opinion. Because, I got 2 girls and a boy, and you have to worry about so much,
And then your boy is sandwiched right in the middle, which is great for this discussion.
Right. It's like I said, you worry about your daughters, that they don't grow up to be pygmies. You worry that they're going to get raped out here in these streets. They're going to be molested. But on the flip side, you got to worry about your son being molested, because there's some straight perverts out here. No one talks about that. But there's a lot of men that's been molested. That's why their heads all fucked up now, because they refuse to go get therapy for the shit they went through as a child. So to me, it's hard raising children, period. In this culture.
Yes. Yes. I don't have I unfortunately don't have any girls other than my little puppy. But, I lost my daughter. Yeah, she was, I had a stillborn, almost full term, which is,
oh my gosh,
devastating. She would have been 18 years old in November.
Oh, so that was your first.
And yes. And, and I have a horrible obstetrical history. I had, multiple miscarriages before, but, she's the one that I lost at the furthest. And, I still think about her every day. It was devastating. Pregnancy loss is absolutely devastating. But it's like Kathy said, I don't think it matters, the difficulty. And people say, oh, it's easier to raise boys. Oh,
yeah, that's what I keep hearing. That's why I asked this.
Girls are so much more difficult. They're so bitchy, and they're so this, and they're so that. And, I just want to pop people in the mouth when they oh my God, they make my ass itch. Because it's difficult to raise children, period. It doesn't matter the gender. And it's like Kathy said, both boys and girls can be preyed upon.
Yes.
Because, they can, both boys and girls can be snatched up and can be trafficked for sex.
Yes. Or just, or killed.
Yes, or to be, or to become drug mules, to be, pulled into it doesn't matter. You have difficulties, both sexes have difficulties all around. You don't want, your daughter to, when she starts dating, you don't want her groomed by an older guy.
Yeah.
You don't want her used and abused, which happens so often. So I don't think there's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
There's no difference at all.
No, it's hard. It is hard. It's like when you have your babies are small, you have small problems, and when they're big, you have big problems.
Yes.
It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It's ongoing. Whether they're female or male, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And like I said, I haven't raised any children, girls or boys, but I was a child before, and I was raised up alongside my brother. So I do have some insight into this thing. And the reason I wanted to ask this question is because I see so many people, men and women alike, talking about how much easier it is to raise sons. And I've always thought that was interesting. And I feel like, and I've even seen sometimes them actually just say it, that they're basing that around either, like you said, bitchiness and then also reproduction. So like if the son gets someone pregnant, that's someone else's problem. But if the daughter gets pregnant, now that's your problem. And so in that regard, it's easier to raise a boy than a girl. But I also often find that when they say it's easier to raise a boy than a girl, it's because they're not really raising the boy. They're just loving him. They're raising the girl and they're just loving the boy.
And the other thing is, I'm so glad you touched on that. I also believe is that the emotions of boys are ignored.
Yeah, because like
they
talk
are.
about how bitchy girls are, but
because
nobody looks at how awful
right,
attitude.
because
they try to scare the fucking dad if he's around. Like nobody talks about that part.
They can't cry. And so so our emotions are on our sleeves, and so you have to deal with us. You have to deal with girls because we're so emotional and we have outbursts, and very often we don't keep it inside. But in these households, since they teach these little boys not to cry. Mm-hmm. You're a man, you're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to cry, and they stifle their emotions.
And they act out in different ways.
And they act out in different things. Right. And these terrible things will happen to them in school. And it may not even be terrible things. They might have conflicts in school, or, people hurt their feelings, or they're being teased, and they cannot talk about it. They can't express it because they don't want to be viewed in this family. They cannot be viewed as being weak.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they stifle their emotions. So I think that's one of the reasons they say it's easier, because they don't deal with the emotional aspect of this human boy that they have.
Mm-hmm. And then when this boy stifles all these feelings, and then it comes out in different ways, destructive ways, they ignore that.
Yes, unleashes it onto society. Absolutely.
Because who cares? You're not being bitchy to me, and so that's all that matters.
Absolutely.
Who cares who you hurt outside of this household? You're not being bitchy to me like that bitch over there. You know what I'm saying? In the other
like
room.
You special.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I don't want to get to the point of beating up on the boys. So what benefits do you believe come along with raising sons?
I think it's about the reproduction. Like if you get somebody pregnant, you won't have to be bothered with that problem. But that is your problem because that's your grandchild.
That's a benefit, Kathy.
I believe that's what they really believe. Well, boys can't get pregnant, so I ain't got to worry. If you get somebody pregnant, that's on her. Shit, that bitch probably lying. How I know that's my grand. These are the things I've heard women saying.
But what about you as the mother or the grandmother? Like, because I've had friends, one in particular who she had two sons. Her mom had two sons, and so they both had a lot of children with different women. And so, like, what about? I mean, when it comes to getting people pregnant, I don't really all the time feel like that's a benefit that because then you have to try to have a relationship with this outside person in order to see your grandchildren.
And I was just thinking about that. Like, my son doesn't have any children. He's 30, thank God. But I'm like, when we talked about that, I said, don't be spreading your thing all over the place, having all these babies in all these different households. Because, I mean, I'm going to have to go through all these different women to see my
Kissing all this
grandchildren.
ass.
And depending on their attitude, I have a friend who got a bunch of sons. She got a bunch of grandchildren. And when the mothers get mad at the fathers, they won't let her have access to her grandchildren.
Right. I wouldn't want to be bothered with nobody in his family if I got having a tough time with the father of my children. I'm not going out of my way to bring the baby to the grandma. That's his job. He should have.
Fuck all of them.
Yes,
friend
that's
was
how I
like, she
feel.
wants-
You know, I'm
my
not a
friend-
parent, but that's how I would see it. So, like,
Right. But I be feeling
as a grandparent, I'm not quite so sure if that's the benefit.
right. But I
Now
just
you
be
gotta do
feeling
all
my
this
heart
heavy
goes out
ass
to her.
kissing with like multiple women, maybe even
Right.
even one. That's a lot.
But I feel bad for her sometimes because she talk about it on the social media and she be missing her grandbabies, and because the baby mamas and the baby daddies beefing, she get caught up in the mix.
Yeah.
And she's a genuinely sweet person, so I'm like, wow. And I'm like, tell them, don't be having no babies by all these multiple women. That's drama.
Yeah.
Benefits to having boys.
Mhm.
Oh, you said benefits. I misunderstood your question. The benefits, if you like, my son got my back. That I know. He's looked out for me so many times over the years. I guess you can call that a benefit. And knowing that I didn't raise a piece of shit, it's a benefit.
Right. Right. So, that's what I was going to say, is that I feel that, because the men are the plague of the earth, I think that's going to be on my tombstone, or on my urn, or somewhere. I feel that I have a responsibility and a duty to at least these two, raise them to not be beasts, to understand that we are the givers of life and women must be revered and we must be respected. And from a very early age, there's no such thing as a woman does this and a man does that in the house. We all clean. They take turns loading and unloading the dishwasher. They know how to cook, simple meals for themselves. They wash their own clothes. Tomorrow morning, as a matter of fact, there's no school. They're young teenagers. They're going tomorrow to wash their clothes, because I don't do that for them anymore. They fold their clothes and they put it away. I've told them, I don't want these two individuals that are going to be men someday, that whomever they choose to live with, they are not a burden to that person.
Exactly.
And that they don't expect that person to be a slave for them. That once they walk into the house, whatever responsibilities they have ends. And whoever the partner is in the house, all that responsibility is there. If there's children or not, where there's cleaning or cooking or anything that needs to be done, it's that other person and not theirs. I am raising them to not be a burden. And if at any moment they turn into a burden, I don't beat them. I don't believe in beating my children, even though, like once, twice, I've had to cut out just to let them know, like, yo,
exactly.
I am a gentle parent, but listen, I will wax your ass if I have to. Like, come on now. If at any moment, and I don't care how old they are going to turn around and they're going to be a burden on someone, and they're going to be disrespectful to someone, especially to another woman, I will beat their ass.
Exactly. Fuck them up.
I don't care how old they are. And that my youngest who's 6 feet tall.
Oh my God, your youngest.
Yes, my youngest is 6 feet
He a big
tall.
boy.
Yeah, I'm 5'9.5", like we tall people, right?
Oh, okay.
And he said to me a few months ago, and he's like, look, Mama, I'm taller than you now. I said, yes, and please don't ever forget, I have absolutely no problem standing up on a chair and beating ass if I have to. And he's like, oops, okay. Turned around and walked away. So it doesn't matter how old they are. Like, I don't beat them. But if at any moment they are going to cause stress and strife in the life of a woman and unfair a woman, I will be there to beat their ass.
Mm-hmm.
That is unacceptable.
Exactly.
We have enough beasts in this world. We have enough beasts that are being put out on a daily basis, that I refuse to put out 2 more.
Yeah.
Not out of my house. Absolutely
I'm
not.
with you there. Like, it's enough fucking abuse and just mean-spiritedness and nastiness in this world to just like basically, like as I was saying, not raise sons but just love them and then just release them out into the world without
any guidance.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
There's enough cruelty out here, and without guiding them, it just seems like that's the natural way that they go. Did you talk about benefits?
No, that's what I feel. To me, I mean, I don't know. Like, is it because of brawn? Like they can do heavy lifting? Sure, I heavy lift too. I mean, I'm a power lifter. I can lift heavy too. I don't know. There's like, anything that's broken in the house, I could fix it. They could fix it. I don't know. I can't really say that there's, any benefit to having them as opposed to having had 2 girls instead of 2 boys.
Okay, that's fair.
You can't say.
All right. So R/were, I know Kathy, your son is grown, so I'm asking, are or were their fears along the way tied to raising sons in particular?
Oh, word. Like him getting shot by these niggas in Chicago, because my son was never on that gangbanging shit, because he told me, I'm not going to jail. I don't want to live my life in a cage.
Mm-hmm.
But, they so reckless these days in Chicago. I still have a fear of him getting shot. Just, standing on the bus stop, walking down the street, just living his life, going back and forth to work, coming home from work, going back and forth to school. Because there's a lot of angry black men in Chicago that's just reckless as hell. That was always my fear. Because I wasn't worried about getting caught up in no gang shit. Because that just simply wasn't his style.
That's good.
Yeah. It's I'm always going to have this fear until my last breath. As 2 black boys, going to and from school, because of other boys that are wild, all these teenagers in the news, like after school, a 15-year-old shot a 12-year-old, a 16-year-old shot a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old shot a 17-year-old, and it's like right after school, like that. I'm like, what the hell is this? So they know as soon as school lets out, one is to takes the bus immediately. The first bus that comes, fortunately, out of 4 buses, he can take 3 of them home. Fortunately, thank goodness. And and the youngest has to take the train, which is a great fear of mine. I had to get him street smart really quick and teach him a lot about the subway over the summer.
Wait, what the fuck is going on in New York? They don't have school buses?
Not if you live nearby. They're not for high school.
Fuck.
Not for high school. For elementary school and middle school, yes. If you live more than a mile out, you'll qualify for a school bus. But once you're in high school, there's no bus. They give you a Metro card. And you have to take public transportation. And with this, homeless population, this rise in homeless population, that a lot of them are mentally ill, a lot of them are drug addicted, and there's a lot of horrible things that have been happening in the subway because of our former mayor allow the subway system to just, get derailed. I am fearful of taking the subway. I started taking the subway when I was 10, 11 years old. And it's a different scene now.
Yes, it is. It's the same thing in Chicago.
Than back in the early 1900s, like the kids say.
Don't do that.
I'm like the oldest dirt. It's like the 1900s, It's a different scene, and things happen, but not on this scale. It's a rise in homelessness. There's a rise in mentally ill. Ronald Reagan, shut down all the mental institutions.
Mm-hmm.
And so, these people have nowhere to go, nowhere to seek treatment. And they prey upon people, they push them onto the track, they stab them, they do all kinds of nonsense. So that's my fear. And also the police.
Yes.
My youngest, the one who's 6 feet, he looks like a man from the back until he turns around and you see he has a baby face.
Mm-hmm.
But these police officers are wild, and they have a smart mouth. But I've told them, do not talk to the police, do not speak, do not answer any questions unless you're lost. Unless you're lost and you need direction. But do not speak. Do not resist. Do not speak to them. Absolutely do not speak to them.
That's the same advice that this podcaster that I listen to, who does true crime, he gives. And he's a white guy. And he's Republican, I believe. And he gives the same advice. He's like, don't talk to the police.
No.
No, I'm totally
Let him take you in.
Crime stories, and so many of these stories are of people who got railroaded or got fooled into giving confessions, or got tricked into saying something that wasn't true, or tricked into saying something that was used to fuck them over when they actually didn't do something. So that's the advice that he always gives, and he's a white guy. And on the right, he's like, don't talk to the police.
Yep. And I have, 2 older brothers that I am not on speaking terms with, who, the oldest of the 2, I have 3 older ones. The oldest and 2 of them were police officers, now retired. The oldest one retired as a lieutenant, and the youngest retired as a deputy inspector. And he's now assistant Brooklyn DA. And they both told me when we were on speaking terms, and these are police officers, do not speak to the police. And they told this to me as a woman. Mm-hmm. Do not answer any questions. Do not speak to the police. Call me.
Yeah, just get a lawyer.
And that's what I told them. I said, do not answer, do not speak. Let them take you in, and they're to call me. And I will get you a lawyer. That's it. Do not answer any questions.
I always irritate cops. I've been like this for years now. I've been arrested several times. I'm a dick. Like, I won't even tell them my name. Like, I have the right to remain silent. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I don't have to say nothing to y'all. Put me in the motherfucking paddy wagon and let's get on with this shit.
Let's go.
You're going to take me down here anyway. There ain't nothing I can say to you that's going to stop you from taking me down here. So get me on down here. I'm not
taking me to jail.
You're going to talk to my lawyer.
Take me to jail.
Mm-hmm. And I have, and hear me, whoever's listening to this podcast, I have nothing on my record. Nothing. I've been arrested multiple times. I have nothing on my criminal background. I can get any job, anywhere, anytime. They're going to run your criminal background or whatever. Every time I try for a job, they run my shit and it comes back a blank piece of paper. Nothing is on my shit. I never talk to cops. I've been guilty before. I never talk to cops. I let them talk to my attorney.
Yeah. Listen, I saw this ad for this lawyer. It's the funniest shit. I don't remember if it was on IG. I think it was on IG. It said, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty.
That's right. That's right.
It don't matter.
I'm not guilty of nothing.
I ain't getting shit.
I said, that's the spirit.
Ooh,
just
that's the truth.
That's right.
The criminal justice system.
Yes, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty.
To fucking, you know what I'm saying, defend yourself.
Absolutely.
It is what it is, especially given that they put so many people away that are innocent. Fuck
Yes.
you. The people who are guilty should be able to get off sometimes too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So do you think the world is harder or more dangerous on boys than girls? Since we're on this topic, especially.
That's a good one.
Told you I've been arrested multiple times.
I have too, actually. But that's because of my slick ass mouth. If I shut the fuck up. Just shut up, Kathy. That's something I learned as I've gotten older. Just hush.
No, I've never been arrested. I can't say
So what
that
do you-
I have, no.
So what do you think, Kathy? Harder or no? Maybe.
Is the world harder on men in this world?
Whether it be men or boys, whatever the case may be.
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. Because it seems to me, but I'm looking at it from a woman perspective, that these fuckers can get away with every damn thing.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have to be accountable for shit. You know, maybe it's not hard enough to shit. I don't know. But I know in some ways it can be hard on them, you know, because the world is hard on them by they letting them do whatever the fuck they want to do. And then they grow up and they are useless.
Interesting. Okay.
I think that the world is, I think it's hard and dangerous for everybody if we're not prepared. But I think that, and like Kathy said, from a woman's perspective, I think that it is harder, and definitely it's exponentially and astronomically more dangerous for women than it is for boys.
I agree. I just got into it with a man about exactly this topic Friday night. But yeah, I agree. Go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, I think that despite the dangers that men face, you know, from being shot, you know, police brutality, I think that the world is against women. We are the punching bags of the world. It's definitely more dangerous for girls.
I think so too. And I think so because like the dangers that men face come from each other.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Other men.
Yeah. Where and they understand each other because they are self, you know? Whereas with women, our dangers come from them more than anything. Sometimes from other women too.
Yes, it comes
But
from,
with-
you know what?
But
It
with men,
comes,
they don't really have that danger coming from women. Not, and this is what I was trying to tell this
right.
guy that I got into it with, is that do women cause men harm? Yes, but it's not common at all.
It's not violence.
Yeah,
It's
like
not
when we're
violent
talking
harm,
about
right.
like killing and beatings and shit like that, it's not common at all. But with men doing that to women, it's extremely common. And they do it to each other. So the common denominator is men causing harm.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So for me to think that the world is harder or more dangerous for men, it's hard for me to get behind that, knowing that they are the initiators of
Right.
harm.
Yeah. You know, you have girls that, you know, they have no safe space.
Yep.
You know, within their home, you know, they're beat if they have a super mammy or super pick me as a mom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have the mom beating on them.
Yep.
They have the father or stepfather or the mother's boyfriend molesting her.
Yep.
The cousins, the grandfather.
And the son is just sitting there eating Twinkies.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know, yes. And, you know, and fruit roll-ups. You know, If she's in foster care, forget it. She's definitely being physically and sexually abused if she's in
Yep.
foster care. If she goes to school, she can be preyed upon by a teacher, by the older boys, beat up by other girls.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to work, you have superiors that are preying upon you, asking for sexual favors if you want a raise, if you want a promotion.
If you want to keep your job.
You know, if you want to keep your job. On your way to work, you can get raped. On your way home, you can get raped.
Get robbed.
If you're in the store, you're in the store, you can get raped. I just saw a video of this man I don't know if it was a Walmart or Target or where he was. The mother and the daughter, he's sneaking behind them. He's sniffing their ass.
Oh my God.
I'm like,
I've heard about that video. Yeah, but
what?
This video is disgusting.
There is no place that is safe for us unless we make it
Exactly.
our own safe. And we need to be. I wish to God New York will get their guns law in order. You know, more women need to protect themselves and need to arm themselves.
Yes.
More women need to arm themselves.
Yep.
There's no
I'll be
place
one
that's safe.
motherfucking way.
Yes. Just
My
go
girl
on.
already got her license to carry and carries, and I plan to be doing the same thing.
Yes.
Like, I really hope to get everything done and have my carry by March, honestly. Yep.
And
I want
I
to start visiting ranges and all of that. I want to get good at it, all of that, because I've had enough. I'm tired of them acting like I'm crazy for thinking that they're so dangerous and them trying to like downplay the shit that they do to women and trying to make me feel like I'm crazy.
Yes.
It's
No.
never going to work. I'm
No.
never going to feel like I'm crazy. I know exactly how dangerous y'all are. I see you in the news every day. I see you
Every
in
day.
history books. I see you
Everywhere.
in political science books. I hear about you on these fucking true crime podcasts. There's nothing that you can say to me to change my mind and make me feel like I don't really understand how fucking dangerous you are and that I'm overreacting. I know how dangerous you are. And I plan to be extremely armed by March. I'm already pretty armed, but the gun, that's taking it to a different level, the level that I need to be at.
I have a good friend that I went to see. I'm not going to say her name. She probably wouldn't mind, but I'm not going to say her name. I went to visit her earlier this year, and she picked me up at the Amtrak station, and everywhere she goes, my girl is strapped.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into the car, and I couldn't stop laughing. She had a cannon.
Yes.
I can describe it. Right there next to the gear shift.
She got to do what she got to do.
Right next to the gear shift, because my girl is not playing around. You know, because these kids and these men that when you stop at the light, they wanna like bully you into washing your windshield, into having you buy you know, the candy or buy water, even though you're not interested. And all she does is she just looks at her gun.
Good for her.
Yes.
Exactly. You got to do what you got to do in the world.
Absolutely. She's not playing around, but I could not stop laughing. It was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen. I went into that car.
You have to have that energy, though.
Absolutely.
You have to. Like,
Yep.
I was watching, this is before I moved into this apartment. I lived in an apartment where I was on the bottom floor. Well, there was no upstairs or whatever. I lived in one of those apartments that just didn't have like any second or third floor. And so I'm sitting outside on my patio and I'm watching my projector outside, just enjoying the fucking summer air, watching TV on my projector. And some asshole, he walks all the way up and into my fucking patio. And again, these men are not going to convince me that I'm fucking crazy. I already knew what to expect. So when I was sitting out there, when I came out there and sat out there, I had my taser on my lap. Because I just know.
Yes.
I just know. But this bitch walks, because this is a closed patio. It has like the tall picket fence all the way around it. He walked all the way up to my front door and then bust that right to go inside my fucking patio, the only opening to it. And
Outrageous.
a minute, girl, while I'm sitting there just watching TV, minding my business, and all I did was just turn the taser on where that red light flicked on.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, my bad. I was just trying to come and see how you doing, and then walked his stupid ass away. You don't need to see how the fuck I'm doing, bitch.
Who is you? Who is you that you want to see how I'm doing?
Who the fuck are you?
Who is you? Yeah, but my girl, she packs just to walk her dog. She packs a cannon with her.
Good for her.
My girl not playing around.
I need to look into that.
Yeah.
I'm sick of their asses. Anywho, so let's get into dating. You said you have high schoolers, and then Kathy, you say you have a 30-year-old, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so has watching them date or choose mates presented any issues? And if not, talk about the advantages your relationships with their partners.
Well, right now my son is currently single. He said he doesn't have enough money to support a family, so he just go chill and do him.
As he should.
Mm-hmm.
What about did he date like in high school? Shit like that. Like what's watching him dating?
He's dated a couple times, but I don't think it was serious because he didn't bring her home.
Okay.
Yeah, mine is still really young teenagers, and my youngest, I know he told me like he liked a couple of girls in middle school, but never went beyond even letting them know that he liked them. I mean, what's going to happen now in high school and beyond? I don't know. I do know that, Lord Jesus, I got to control myself. Because I know like whatever partner they're not choosing someone for me. You know, whoever it is that they bring home, because you can't bring everybody home.
Exactly.
So I don't know, but they have two good heads on their shoulders, and they're disgusted by Tristan third trimester Thomas and Future and the other one, the Nick Cannon and just these men that are creating all these broken homes, and these women that allow it.
Yes.
All these multiple children. It's gross, and they're disgusted by raw dogging.
Good, me too. I'm 100 years old, and me too, bro.
They're disgusted by it, and I am so happy. I'm so happy. They're disgusted by that raw dogging. I'm like, and they're disgusted, and they're afraid of STIs, because we have talked about that. And they know what condoms look like and how to put them on. They're like, we don't want to. I said, yes, you have to know. And this is, a couple of years back, I had a, putting on a condom lesson, and Mom, you don't have to. Yes, I do have to do this.
Yes, you do.
I do. Yes, I do. You have to know how to do this. You don't need to be embarrassed. This is completely natural. I'm your mom. You don't need to be embarrassed. And we've talked about, all the STIs, and you gotta wrap it up. And they're not interested. They're not looking to get caught out. So, once they get older and things heat up, we'll see. The lessons carry over.
Yeah, because I got friends, they got plenty of grandchildren through their sons around.
Okay. So what about mom? Because I don't know, like I grew up with a single mom. Both of you two are single moms, and you both have boys. And I grew up with a single mom, and I had my older brother in the house. He's like 2-3 years older than me. And I'm curious because I don't know if he was like the norm or not, but he didn't seem to give a shit about like what my mom did as far as like dating. Like it didn't seem like he was looking or hoping for like a stepdad, but at the same time he wasn't like, you better keep these motherfuckers up out of here, Like he wasn't trying to restrict her dating at all, but he wasn't trying to like find another dad either. Like I remember two guys that my mom dated while we were kids, and I remember one that my brother was close to and one that I was more close to, but none of them really got too close to us because my mom just wouldn't allow it. But the one that my brother fucked with, like, he liked him because he would come over and play video games with him and shit like that, you know, because he was like an adult and he would just like beat the shit out of him in the video game. And so he enjoyed that. And then I had the guy that I liked where we had similar interests in music and shit like that. So they were cool, you know, but we never really got like super close with these guys. And I don't know that my brother ever like wanted them or wanted my mom to find us a new dad, or if he was opposed to that. Like he never seemed like he was opposed to it at all, but I don't know that he wanted her to like get us a new dad. So I want to know, like, as single mothers, what has your own dating life looked like with sons in the home?
Well, for me, I dated one guy, and it turned out to be a disaster. And so I've been chilling on the dating scene. My children didn't like him. My son didn't like him. My daughters didn't like him. And I got rid of him. And lately, like I said, I've been chilling. You know, they're not looking, you know, like my kids are adults, so they're not looking for a stepfather. No, my oldest daughter wants me to go find a fella, but I told her I'm not thinking about relationships at this time right now.
Okay.
Oh, before you start talking, I did my dirt, but I ain't bringing it home because you shouldn't bring everybody around your kid.
Yeah, that's kind of how my mom was. She didn't bring too many guys home,
Exactly.
but those that she did, like she, you know, she
Right.
still kept a distance
Mm-hmm.
from us because they weren't our dad. But yeah, she still had like boyfriends and shit like that, and she would let us know, you know, some of them. I mean, she left my dad when I was like 7, 8 years old. So, you know, she was still a young, beautiful woman. So obviously she's still gonna be dating and shit like that. But, you know, like it had to be like somebody who she was really into for her to even let them come and visit.
So, like, my parents divorced when I was like 5. They separated when I was 4. Yeah, I was like 4 when they separated, and they divorced when I was 5. And then my mother didn't really date. She went from having nobody to having a coworker, this guy she used to work with, coming around the house. You know, he was okay. It was pretty cool. And then we moved to Staten Island, and he would sort of semi live with us, you know, 2 or 3 times a week. And on weekends, when she wouldn't come over to my grandmother's house, you know, she would stay in her apartment and he would be there. And that went on for a few years. I'd say maybe 6 years, that living on and off or 7 years, until that Star 69 came out.
Uh-uh.
And his wife dialed back my mother's number. Yes.
Oh shit.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Hector was still married to the wife. Yes. Lord Jesus Christ. But I remember my mother telling my grandmother the whole conversation. I was sitting in the bathroom eavesdropping the whole conversation. And you know, when she saw him again, she wouldn't let him into my grandmother's apartment, and she just cut it off right then and there. She like bossed up, and she said, "Never again. You will never touch me again, and you will never see me again." And that was the end of that. But for me, when they were younger, I was doing real dirt. Yeah, he said, I was doing real dirt. They were younger and I was younger. No one to ever bring into my house. Never. And not even so much because of them. I don't want anyone here. I do not know. You know what? No man deserves to be in my home. I don't think that they're good enough.
Exactly.
You know, and right now, like I know my oldest, you know, he just shakes his, you know, he just shrugs his shoulders. I'm sure he has more of opinion of it, but he won't express it. But my youngest is very vocal about it, and he's like, no. He's like, absolutely, you know, no. Like he would not want to have a stepfather. And I'm like, you know, but what if I seriously meet someone? He's like, no. I said, but that's not your decision. You know, and he turns and he glares at me like whenever Chris Evans comes on TV, I'm like, oh, daddy, you know, and or who's the other one? Keanu Reeves. I'm like, oh, look at daddy, you know.
Like, don't you even think about
I know. So now I do it. Now I just do it like as a joke. But in all seriousness, like once COVID started, I stopped. I don't even have any of those apps. Like I just stopped. And now that COVID is sort of kind of tampered down, but it's not over. It's like, and now I'm older also, I'm just not interested. I feel like I don't have the desire, I don't have the strength, I don't have the energy to like try and break someone in.
Yeah.
Because they need broken into.
Yes.
You know.
Oh my God, that was so eloquent.
I can't, you know, and then just to sit there and to listen to them, they really irritate me.
Same for me. I can't.
Me too.
I can't even tolerate being flirted with. That's how
I can't do it. You know why? Because
I get so angry with people just flirting with me. Like I feel like something's wrong with me, and I know like a lot of people be thinking that I'm probably gay or something, and I'm really not.
Let them think it.
I can't see myself laying with a woman, but at the same time, I can't stand like guys even trying to fucking flirt with me. They're so irritating.
And so this, you know, and so this presents a problem now because you know, I'm not a lesbian. I'm not, you know, I have watched lesbian porn, but I'm not interested, you know, in women sexually. I'm not interested in kissing women and touching women and being touched or kissed by women. I am 100% pure cox woman, but all I want is like, can we just end this now and you just give me the money so I can pay my bills and like you go home and I can go home? Like, can we just do that?
Yeah, I'm not interested in any of it. I don't want you to pay my bills. I don't want you to pay my bills. I don't want you to flirt with me. I don't want you to take me out on a date. I don't want you to fuck me. I don't want anything. Like,
see, I'm
pleasantly done.
Of the above, I just want my bills paid. I don't want the flirting. I don't want to go out with them. I don't want to waste my makeup on them. I don't want to waste my expensive perfume on them.
Keep your fucking money too, because I don't want to have to deal with you on any level at all. Like, that's really where I am, and it's really sad because that's not the way that human nature, I don't think, is set up. But that's where I am. Like, I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want you feeling like you're doing anything for me. I don't want you feeling like I should be doing anything for you. I really don't even want them talking to me a lot of time. Like, I'm just really in that space because them talking to you, a woman, often really just translate that they want something from you.
Yes, it's they want to waste. It's they're going through these motions and they're going through this bullshit ritual to waste your time, you know, or just because they want a piece of pussy.
That's it. And I don't have no piece of pussy.
And they want to bullshit you. Like, how long are you here to waste my time? Are you here just to waste my time for the night? While you're going to buy me this drink? What's the caveat? What is attached to you buying me this drink?
Exactly. That's why I'm like, I don't
tonight. Is it just going to be?
I know what's attached to that. I'm good.
You know,
I can pay my own bills easily.
You know, for you to then ghost me once you get the pussy, because you know these men, they just want another notch on their bedpost or on the floor. They have a mattress on the floor, whatever. You know, I just can't, because now in like raising these children, I realize that I have low expectations of men in general, period.
Yeah.
And there really is no man out there that I can actually have a great expectation of. He would have to go out of his way to prove it. And
That's how I feel. And they want women to prove
yes,
everything
no,
up front.
sorry,
And I
no.
refuse to do
If
that.
I don't,
Like when
not
they
doing
say
it.
shit like that, all I hear is I have a little dick and
Yeah.
I'm not a gentleman. All right, and that's enough of that. Join us next week at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for part 2 of Raising Sons. And in the meantime, go ahead and follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Podcast 10.